Evidence suggests Bob Lazar was telling the truth about UFOs and anti-gravity propulsion. Bob Lazar was right on all his claims all along. On May 15, 1989, Class 5 TV did a live interview with an anonymous man who made some extraordinary claims about UFOs and anti-gravity technology. Bob Lazar, who hid his identity under the pseudonym Dennis, claimed that the United States military was conducting covert research on alien technology in the Nevada desert, close to a base now commonly referred to as Area 51. Lazar's claims seemed to be true after a 2020 New York story, "No Longer in Shadows, Pentagon's UFO unit will make some findings public," was the title. And that included some information about how astrophysicist and Pentagon contractor Eric W. Davis gave a classified briefing to government officials in March 2020 about retrieve off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. In an interview with Las Vegas investigative reporter George Knapp in 1989, Lazar claimed unbelievable things about Area 51 that catapulted the topic into the public consciousness. Bob Lazar said he had reverse-engineered crashed alien flying saucers at a top-secret military station called S4 near Papoose Lake. His claims sounded like science fiction, but in 30 years, everything he said in his interviews seems to become quite realistic. Knapp stated in an interview with KNPR State of Nevada that he was unable to verify some of the information that Lazar provided to him. For example, he asserted that Lazar studied at MIT. However, Knapp checked with the institution and it does not have any records of Lazar there. In addition, Lazar stated that he held a position at Los Alamos National Lab. When Knapp inquired about Lazar's employment at the lab, Los Alamos responded that Lazar did not hold a position there. On the other hand, Lazar showed Knapp and a photojournalist around the National Lab after taking them there himself. Knapp reported that everyone, including the security guard at the front gate and other scientists, greeted him as if he was a familiar face there. So if Lazar really worked at Los Alamos, is there any record of him? Medium user Signals Intel UFO has done great work by transcribing over 50 interviews of Bob Lazar with in-depth information. Bob claimed to have been hired as a physicist at Los Alamos in May 1982. For evidence about his employment, there's an article written by Terry England on June 30th, 1982. To Lazar, a physicist at the Los Alamos Mesas Physics Facility, the important thing is the jet engine. It's something he's been working on for years, England wrote. In July 2020, during Joe Rogan's podcast with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, Corbell said he asked Terry England about Bob Lazar's occupation as a physicist at Los Alamos. There are two former lab employees who work directly with Bob. The first one is a physicist named John Jarmer, and the second one, according to Signals Intel UFO, had an administrative role but remained to be unidentified. Jarmer worked at the lab for over 2 decades in the polarized proton section, and besides Joe Vaninetti, who worked alongside Bob, is listed as an author on multiple original research papers with John Jarmer. There are other documents and accounts stating that Lazar had worked at S4, a government laboratory near Groom Lake. Richard Geltreich has done great research in connecting the dots to Bob Lazar's mystery. Exactly as Lazar had described it in the 1980s, a craft of unknown origin can be seen spinning and flying belly up in one of the U.S. Navy's declassified UFO videos. The craft that I worked on, that when it's going to travel a long distance, that is how it operates, it puts its belly to the target and then brings all of the amplifiers to power, and it shoots off in that direction. It doesn't fly as it would in science fiction movies. It flies with the belly, the bottom forward, Lazar said. And take a look at the so-called gimbal UFO. If the preceding description of a tilting spacecraft seems at all familiar to you, in 2017, the Pentagon made a video available online. In 2015, naval pilots flying off the coast of Florida came face to face with a fleet of unknown ships, crafts, and since then they have had scores of further encounters of a similar nature. In the gimbal video, there's a mechanistic turn against the wind without deceleration, and so we have a craft without rotors, without heat signatures, without plumes, without tail fins, and certainly no tail number, moving in a way that's counterintuitive to our aeronautics, filmmaker Jeremy Corbell said. And when Bob saw it, he said it has to be a gravity-propelled craft, that it does mimic the propulsion system Bob Lazar described. In Syria, when Lazar initially began discussing the possibility of using element 115 as a power source for anti-gravitational propulsion, the element was not even included on the periodic table. Nobody knew of it. But now it is. It does not seem like much of a coincidence, does it? The study of UFOs did not end in 1969 with Project Blue Book. Now that was a lie, it appears, and it was an admitted lie by our own Pentagon, Corbell said. We're living in a world where it is understood that there are craft technologically advanced from an unknown origin that are performing maneuvers that far exceed human technology. It's been going on a long time, and our government has been studying it. Bob Lazar further explained in his interviews that bombarding element 115 with protons leads it to create element 116 called livermorium, which immediately decays and produces antimatter. The antimatter collides with normal particles, creating a massive energy burst, which can be used for propulsion. It's quite likely element 115 could also be the famed exotic matter that is needed to create traversable wormholes that physicists such as Drs. Kip Thorne and Carl Sagan have speculated, and was the subject of a recently leaked Defense Intelligence reference document titled Traversable Wormholes, Stargates, and Negative Energy. In September 2020, Corbell shared a photo of Lazar holding aerogel that was used to package element 115 for transport. He said that he could not include this part in his Netflix documentary, but promised to publish a clip on YouTube channel discussing element 115 and how he observed it functioning. Now, it's reported that a distortion occurs, a gravitational distortion. This is highlighted by how these vehicles appear to negate the effects of inertia. You've heard it thousands of times from credible witnesses regarding their UFO encounters. It shot off at an impossible speed. Commander Fravor and Commander Select Underwood used those exact words to me when describing their encounters with the Tic Tac UFO. The craft displayed instantaneous acceleration and was immediately gone from both sight and radar. Even the Princeton with its Spy 1 radar system confirmed this in real time. So what's up with these transmedium vehicles? Transmedium going from air to sea, in other words. What's up with these transmedium machines? These UFOs that fly with impunity in our airspace? Maybe element 115 can give us a glimpse into the UFO presence on our planet Earth, Corbell writes. And this is on Collective Spark by Vicky Vermahazen-Wise. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.